All right, guys. So the Biden administration met with the George Floyd family a couple days ago at the White House, and as we all know, I mean, it was just a show. Okay. At this point, people need to realize that the Biden administration is simply using the George Floyd family just to pander for the black vote, right? Just to pander to black people, even though, behind the scenes, like I've showed you guys and told you guys about so many times, that they're not really doing anything. They're not even really trying to do anything. Now, allegedly, they're trying to pass the George Floyd Policing Act. Okay, now that's being negotiated in the Senate. But like I said, when they had an opportunity to work with Tim Scott on a police reform bill, that they agree with everything that's in the bill. Okay, there's nothing in the bill that they disagree with at all. They just felt like it didn't go far enough. Even though, again, if they would have passed it, if they felt like they could have done more, they could have done more at a later date. Nothing stopped them from doing that. However, that's not what they did. Okay, that's not what they did. They declined it at the time, right after the event had happened, in the middle of protests and riots in the street, right? In the middle of unrest. They decided to decline on trying to do anything about the issue. And I say issue in air quotes because, again, like I told you guys, I don't think that police reform is really even a top 10 issue in the black community. I just don't. And when you look at some of the videos, it just comes so obvious what's going on. It's so obvious that it's cringe. Like, look at Nancy Pelosi talking about George Floyd and his daughter. Take a look.
Gianna said, my daddy will change the world. And indeed, her prediction is coming true. And it's coming true because of so many people who worked so hard for decades to make it come true.
As you can see there, guys, even George Floyd's daughter knows what the deal is. Even she knows. Okay? She's rolling her eyes. She knows it is disgusting. Disgusting. Okay? Just like it was disgusting when Nancy Pelosi thanked George Floyd for his sacrifice.
So again, thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that? Call out for your mom. I can't breathe. But because of you, and because of thousands, millions of people around the world who came out for justice, your name will always be synonymous with justice. And now we have to make sure justice prevails in the sentencing. But that's its own procedure.
Again, this stuff is obvious. And it got even more awkward, right? Biden's out here talking about how George Floyd's daughter was sitting on his lap.
I think they spoke to, maybe they spoke to some of you. I think they were very pleased with the time we spent together. It was mostly personal. We spent a long time, I guess almost a couple hours.
What have you just like?
First thing she did when she ran in, just threw her arms around me, gave me a big hug, and wanted to sit in my lap. And she also loved the idea that she said, I'm really hungry. And so she said, do you have any snacks?
What did you give her?
Well, we gave her, my wife would kill me. We gave her some ice cream. She had some Cheetos, and I think she had a salted milk. I'm not sure what the third one was.
I mean, how obvious can it be that this doesn't really mean anything? They're doing this as a show. It is a front. It is an act. It is an act. The Democrats will go out there and they'll talk about how we need to pass the George Floyd Policing Act because of George Floyd's daughter. We must help save the legacy or carry on the legacy of George Floyd and how much they care about his daughter. And I'm like, okay, if you care about George Floyd's daughter so much, then you should probably be addressing the issue of the thugs and criminals in the community that are harming and hurting young women like George Floyd's daughter. That's what you really should be addressing. You should be addressing the crime in the community. Maybe you should actually have more police in the community. Maybe you shouldn't have progressives in your party talking about defunding the police if they want to protect somebody like George Floyd's daughter. Because again, statistically speaking, George Floyd's daughter is way more likely to die at the hands of another black person, specifically a black man, than she is at the hands of a police officer, period. So if you want to protect her, then why are we not talking about the violence that's going on in the community that is resulting in the loss of lives of young women, just like George Floyd's daughter, that's happening every single day on the streets? But you don't want to talk about that, right? In fact, I mean, they really have no interest in having any real conversations about anything going on in the black community. Now, if you didn't believe me up until this point, apparently Kamala was meeting with the Aristotle of the black community, Lil Baby, at the White House. Lil Baby, the rapper, Lil Baby. Okay, and this is significant, and this is honestly, I think it's pissed a lot of people off, because Lil Baby is the same rapper that said, I ain't gonna lie, I talk about killing and dope, but I get all my youngins to vote. That line right there encompasses exactly why he is meeting with Kamala at the White House. Kamala and Biden are quick to meet with the family of George Floyd. And again, outside of what happened to George Floyd, I'm not really trying to disrespect the dead, okay? But let's be real. Outside of what happened to George Floyd, what has he done significantly for the black community? What has he done? What are the positive things that he's done? Again, I'm not trying to disrespect the dead. I'm just asking some real questions. Because again, if he was not dead, they would not be meeting with that family. Matter of fact, if he didn't die at the hands of a white police officer, they would not be meeting with that family. If he had died at the hands of a black police officer, again, they would not be meeting with that family. If Lil Baby was a black business leader or a real, grassroots black activist or whatever, right? They would not be meeting with Lil Baby. But because Lil Baby is a rapper, because he can reach a broader audience the same way that meeting with George Floyd's family can appeal to a broader audience, she's willing to sit down and talk with Lil Baby as if he has any solutions for the black community whatsoever. But she won't meet with Ice Cube, though. She's not going to meet with Ice Cube, right? And this is before they got in office, right? This is on the campaign trail. Can't meet with Ice Cube, can't talk to Ice Cube. He actually has plans and solutions. Why is it that they can't meet with the family of David Dorn? Why is David Dorn not getting any attention? Okay, if you're going to honor somebody who's black, who has died tragically, doing, some of these racial issues that have been going on in this country, what about highlight a black police officer? Somebody that lost his life tragically, that was trying to protect a business in his community. He lost his life in the line of duty, trying to protect his community. Somebody that was a role model in his community, not just to black people, but also to other police officers whom are white. Those same police officers that you guys complain about so much, right? This man was a role model to everybody. But no, he can't get honored because he doesn't fit the narrative. He doesn't fit the qualifications. You can't die at the hands of another black person and get honored. That don't mean nothing. Those black lives don't matter. And especially if you are a black life in blue, right? Black lives in blue don't matter. His family doesn't get nothing, right? He doesn't have the ambulance chasers coming after his situation because he died at the hands of thugs and criminals. Matter of fact, they can't even meet with any police officers, period. I haven't seen him meet with any police officers. I haven't seen him talk to any police. Why are you not talking to police? If you really want to solve the police issue, right, if that's really important to you, why are you not meeting with black police officers or even just police leaders in general around the country? But we know how the game go. If you do anything positive for your community, if you're actually trying to uplift the black community, if you're not trying to put down the black community, okay, if you're not putting toxic ideologies in the black community, you're not useful to them. Okay, you're not useful to them. Because even though she can't meet with the family of David Dorn or have David Dorn's family at the White House or honor him in any way, got to talk with Lil Baby, though, because, even though he raps about killing and dope, two things that are, again, destroying the black community, right? Killing, drug use, being high all the time, not in your right state of mind. But they voting, though. Got to get him to vote Democrat. He can get these folks out here to vote. Again, guys, I don't know how much more clear does this have to be that the Democrats have zero interest in helping really any community besides themselves. They have an interest in creating division under the appearance that they're fighting for this race and that race when they're really not. I haven't seen the Biden administration, again, where are the black business leaders, right? At least under Trump, people can criticize Trump all they want. At the very least, Trump met with, black leaders, okay? I mean, if you was willing to meet with Trump, he was willing to meet with you. Again, he might not have done everything, but at the end of the day, he made an effort to reach out, okay, in a way that was somewhat real, right? That wasn't just pandering. He made an attempt to have a conversation. They're not even attempting to have a conversation. They don't want to have a conversation. That's why she's talking to Lil Baby, because, again, no disrespect to Lil Baby, but what does Lil Baby have to talk about? What does Lil Baby know? Lil Baby know about the streets and rap, and that's it. He don't know anything else. And this is why they met with Cardi B. What does Cardi B have to talk about? What does she has to say? We know what she has to say. Nothing. She has nothing to say. That's why she gave probably one of the most embarrassing interviews I've ever seen in my life with a presidential candidate. And they will sit through that solely just to pander to those young, ignorant people who don't know any better in regards to what's actually going on. Lil Baby can get a meeting at the White House with Kamala Harris, but I haven't seen any real black business leaders. I haven't seen any of that, right? Ice Cube can't get a meeting, even though he's a rapper, but Lil Baby can get a meeting. Again, I don't agree with everything Ice Cube says, but I think Ice Cube is way more legitimate than Lil Baby, right? Ice Cube is way more legit. So at the end of the day, we'll see what happens with this police bill. I think a lot of the holdup is because of the whole qualified immunity thing. There's some progressives that want to get rid of that. And I don't think that the Republicans are going to go for that. And the negotiations are being led primarily by Tim Scott, the Republican in the Senate, right, with the Democrats. So, we will see how it go. At this point, if I'm Tim Scott, maybe he's a better man than me, but I would feel some type of way about letting the Democrats potentially get a W by passing a bill called the George Floyd Policing Act, knowing damn well that when you propose a bill to help solve this problem or to address this issue, that they denied it purely for politics in the middle of probably one of the largest unrest that we've seen in this country. So who knows? We'll see what happens with that. But just remember, guys, this is a game, right? It's a game, and it's all for show. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.